What are you hoping to accomplish tonight, sir?
We're raising the awareness about the democracy that was stolen through the Democratic Party, not by the fears of a Trump that will do these things. We had a Democratic Party that already did it. Look at the WikiLeaks. Show them.
You're not afraid of a Donald Trump in the fall?
I'm afraid of a Democratic Party that's secretly taking our rights away while we're scared of somebody who's saying they're going to take our rights away.
A powerful moment on this network just moments ago. You've got Democrats feeling like this is a system that is completely rigged against them. With me right now, former presidential candidate Dr. Ben Carson, along with Lou Dobbs, of course. You know, Dr. Carson, we're watching people now take to the streets there. Thousands of Bernie Sanders supporters that were marching outside this arena towards downtown Philadelphia have now met up with a group of Black Lives Matter supporters who are marching towards the arena. They've all turned around. They're heading right back here. What do you make of this? Do you understand the frustration of some of these Democrats who right now feel as though this is one rigged system?
Sure, they're extremely frustrated. That's the reason that so many of them were going with Bernie Sanders, because they looked at Hillary Clinton, who is the epitome of the established political class. They obviously didn't want that, and now they're even doubly frustrated because Bernie Sanders has thrown his hat in the ring with Hillary Clinton, and they feel like they don't have any options. They feel like the whole system is just completely messed up. And to a certain degree,
so in other words, they're feeling
correct.
as though they've been abandoned by their champion. You know, politically speaking, who does the advantage go to in this situation? A lot of people have made this comparison to 1968. Lou, rightly so, points out this is nothing like 1968 in terms of its drama level, not quite there. However, let's not forget that a lot of Democrats stayed home in '68 because they were not enthused. And Richard Nixon became president of the United States. If these Bernie Sanders supporters do not go to the polls, what does it mean?
Well, it's going to be obviously an advantage for the Republicans if that happens. But it's also an opportunity, I think, for Donald Trump to begin to really, you know, put a hand of leadership out there and be able to articulate some programs that will appeal to everybody. That's been one of the problems for the last many years. You know, we select one group over another group. If we have policies
Dr.
that
Carson, stay with me. I want to go right now to Jeff Flock, who's out there in the middle of these protests. We've seen the police cars, the sirens. Jeff.
We have got an extremely volatile situation out here right now with the Black Lives protesters marching one way and the Sanders protesters the other way. You've got police in the middle of this now, and this is nowhere near as large a police presence as there was in Cleveland. And they're now trying to back police cars up. This is somewhat metaphorical, perhaps, but the police are trying to back up as the protesters come toward them. This is as I said, a very volatile situation. You had some protesters taunting the police, and they're now trying to move back. There has not been any direct violence yet, but I'll tell you, we are right on the edge of it. It's almost as if a melange of frustrations and protests are coming together right now on the streets of Philadelphia. It's almost hard to distinguish one protest from the other. And there is chaos. I think it's fair to say there is chaos on the streets of this city as we speak.
You know, I'm looking at this crowd, and Jeff, as you pointed out, not a lot of police there, a lot of protesters. Lou Dobbs, you know, when we were in Cleveland, there were thousands of police. I mean, really, when they anticipated a protest sprouting up, they were there instantaneously. We saw them on the streets, sometimes in groups of 100, dressed in SWAT gear. We don't see that as much in Philadelphia, and as we look at these pictures that Jeff is bringing us, I see many, many more protesters than I do, you know, police presence.
I think you're making a great point, Trish. The police presence here, while I'm sure is in the thousands, I don't think doesn't convey the sense that it approaches the 5,500 law enforcement officers who were present in Cleveland. There is a looser atmosphere here in Philadelphia than there was in Cleveland. And what we're watching is, Jeff describes it as volatile. It is truly unfortunate that if this has been organized, between the Socialist Sanders protesters and the Black Lives Matter demonstrators to create this kind of volatility. This is very provocative actions on the part of these people peacefully demonstrating, but this is not constructive to do it in this fashion, because precisely as Jeff has said, these things can turn very quickly. If you've ever been in the middle of a demonstration that turns into a mob, you sense it. It's a visceral, chemical moment in a crowd.
Sure. Dr. Carson here with us as well. And Dr. Carson, that's the big fear, of course, that nobody wants to see any of this turn. But as we're pointing out, it seems as though things are becoming more volatile. Any explanation for that? Why at this time we're seeing that? Is this
Sure.
primarily just a result of where we are right now as a country?
Well, this is a tinderbox, and I think there are some outside agitators who knew that that was going to be the case, and so they're coming in and taking advantage of it, and it's really creating a very dangerous situation. And I hope the police have reinforcements, because this could be just the beginning of something pretty substantial.
Lou, do you think that the police did not anticipate this to this magnitude? I mean, you think about Cleveland and the presence there, and there was a lot of concern, I'd say even fear, that there would be these outbursts. But in Philly, you know, as you point out, kind of loosey-goosey. I mean, not the same sort of level or standard of security that we saw in Cleveland. What is it that they were missing?
Well, a couple of things. One is there has been great emphasis on securing the arena and this 4-mile perimeter, without question. But they have lost some control here as these people emerged into the streets and started moving. The Black Lives Matter movement, then, is as you described it, meeting them. It looks to me organized. It looks quite intentional, and unfortunately, there's no way to control this without manpower. The police look here to be severely outnumbered, and that is never, ever a good idea.
Let's go back to Jeff right now. We've been reporting, of course, that you have two groups that have met, that have merged. The Black Lives Matter movement alongside Bernie Sanders supporters. One was going one way, the other group was going the other way. They met in the middle. They have joined, and they are now marching towards the arena here in Philadelphia. Jeff.
And the police are trying to head them off from the arena, and we're kind of running in a washing machine effect here as people just chaos in the middle of it. Listening to what you've been saying about the police force, this is just Philadelphia police largely. I mean, in Cleveland, as you know, we had police from all over the country essentially, and there were police everywhere. This has not been the case here, and the police are definitely.
Let's go. The fight is at Wells Fargo. Walk out front.
This man just said the fight is at the convention center. So they're now, the Black Lives Matter as well as the Bernie Sanders supporters seem to be headed toward the convention center. I will say that the Bernie Sanders supporters have on multiple occasions said this is peaceful. We do not want trouble. We are not looking for trouble. This is a peaceful movement. Some others in the crowd have, I think it's fair to say, have been taunting the police. They've done, I think, a pretty good job of not engaging with the protesters. But what's going to happen from here on in, we don't know.
Look, it's a really challenging position for them to be in, especially as we've pointed out that there are not quite as many of them in magnitude as we saw in Cleveland. You see them there, Jeff. Are they forming a barricade outside the arena? I don't know if you can see that far up ahead. We've got another live picture coming to us from Philadelphia.
We are headed for the convention center again right now, and it seems like now they have pretty strongly committed to head to the convention center. This is not democracy. They don't need, you're hearing the chant. So I don't know what is planned. In terms of the police planning, they have really stayed on the sidelines. Unlike in Cleveland, which was very proactive and right in the middle of it, These folks have the police in Cleveland have let things go and tried to get out of the protesters' way, just stayed on the sidelines. But at this point, we have got the largest group, I think, that I have seen since the start of the convention that is marching. And where they're going and what their plan is, I don't know if they know.
You know, one of the interesting, and I think one of the things that we need to bring into this is that we're aware that Bernie Sanders has far more demonstration assembly permits from the city than does any other group. I don't know the degree to which Black Lives Matter as an organization has those permits, but it's clear that they meant to demonstrate and to protest and have been given license by the city to do so. This is going to, it's going to unfold, as Jeff says, we hope very peacefully, because the Sanders people have made it known and have conducted themselves without, at least as far as we know, formal leaders. They've done a remarkable job.
You know, you think about what a distraction it is from what's going on here in the arena. A big momentous night, of course, for Hillary Clinton, becoming the first woman to top a presidential ticket there. And all of this, of course, unfolding right outside the premises. We're going to talk with someone who's a big supporter of hers, as well as an advisor to President Obama, coming up to get his thoughts and his reaction to all of this. And we're going to continue following these protests for you. We are going to be right back live from Philadelphia right after this quick break.